Back, Mr. M. Jaggy.
And one fish, two fish. And one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. And a red fish, blue fish. That's close. Charles rated me. That's close. Charles rated me. And Charles is streaming, I guess. Rated me. And Charles is streaming, I guess. And Charles is streaming, I guess. And I didn't notice because I'm a slug. And I didn't notice because I'm a slug. And I didn't notice because I'm a slug. Of course, YouTube is still minutes behind. Of course, YouTube is still minutes behind. Of course, and I didn't notice because I'm a slug. There we go. Anyhow, sound check is good. Of course, YouTube is still minutes behind. Here, we'll put YouTube over there. Don't need to see that. Charles, I missed your stream. I'm sorry, dude. I wasn't paying attention to your Discord, obviously. I hope it went well. I hope the procedure yesterday went well. I guess because you're streaming, it means you're not dead, so excellent. A little bit of an echo. A little bit of an echo. A little bit of an echo. Napspore, good to see you, buddy. We're working on the Safari Girl. I'm trying to get the wrestling outfit done, and I keep making mistakes. Probably, I hope to submit it yesterday, but it dragged out to today, and it'll probably be tomorrow. But today on stream, we are working on Safari Girl stuff. I'm going to do accessories mostly, I think. We'll get through and we'll crank out the textures, I think. Then maybe we'll work on that. Let's do that. I think I have Substance open. Procedure went very smoothly. Yay! And you're already back to normal. Stream went. It was just a short little stream waiting for you to start. Okay. Well, thank you for the raid, man. I really do appreciate it. That's the wrestling outfit. Let's pop over to. I have to add. You know what? I got to do the belt buckle because I have to put the holes in there, into the belt. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a belt buckle set up on the Safari outfit. Then we can finish off the outfit textures. It's called Savannah. Then we're going to work on the props. I already have I'm a slacker. I'm just going to grab a belt buckle. What did I use? I didn't use a belt buckle in the last Safari outfit I did because I wasn't doing belts. Now that I've got a technique that works more or less well for belts. I think I do want to work a little bit. I got to tweak this mesh a little. So I'm totally going to get to props. I'm not going to spend the whole day just messing around with these textures. There's a little bit of goofiness in the mesh, though. We're going to clean that up. And I've lost chat because Daz is in the way. Well, I'm glad the procedure went well. I don't know if I said that because I said that a minute ago. Do I have my speakers on? Maybe I did. Maybe the speaker was on. I thought I had the headphones set. Headphones are on. I must have a tab open in the background, although I thought I. Nope, that one's off. That one's off. Am I still? 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 I mean, I hear an echo from Twitch, but I don't hear an echo. I mean, I hear an echo from Twitch. And then when I turn that off, still an echo delay. Why do I not hear it and you hear it? Okay, echo test one. Okay, echo test one. That was Twitch. Okay, echo. That's Twitch one. Echoing. That was Twitch. Okay, echo. That's Twitch one. Echoing. Twitch. Okay, echo. So I'm going to turn that off. I don't know. Still there. You don't have an echo until you started checking it. So, great. Napsmore's got an echo, but Charles doesn't. So I'm gonna blame Napsmore for that one. Because right now there should be no echo when I'm saying there should be no echo, other than the fact I just repeated. Um, When I do my sound check, you do get the crazy echo. Does he have your stream running? That would do it. Yes, if he has you in another tab, that would totally. Because since you rated me, I'm now in whatever tab he had open for you. Good call, Charles. Anyhow, Savannah outfit. I'm almost done with the wrestling outfit. I'll have some pictures for it tonight on stream. Savannah outfit we're still working on. So in order to proceed further with the textures, I got to line up the belt buckle. Other than that, the textures are pretty much done for the main outfit. I don't think, did I do the boots yet? I don't think I've done the boots yet. I'll have to texture the boots and the accessories. So hopefully I'm going to do a little bit of work on the textures. Then we're going to do the compass, the canteen, and the hat. That's kind of the plan. Sorry, may have been on your end. that would do it. Yes. Napswar, by the way, how you doing, buddy? Those are fine, except they're not being posed yet. I think, did I do the body shapes on these yet? I don't think I have. And we have our sock tops. So that's where we are right now. I'm gonna go add a belt buckle onto here. Before I do that, I want to clean that up a little bit. That's just looking a little weird. Do I got some strange flipped geometry or something going on in there? We're going to check some normals. I'm going to actually straighten that out a little bit. We'll bring it back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this out. We'll pop in the blender. We'll clean up the belt a little bit in there. Then we'll re-update the geometry. Then I'm not going to do that with the Genesis 9. We'll just do that with Genesis 8. Going to be grabbing a bite real quick. All right, see you in a minute, Charles. So here, let's do this. Let's come over to, let's make sure we have the outfit selected. We'll go to mesh resolution. It's still at base. And I don't have mesh smoothing turned on. Okay, we'll export that out. You know what? I'm just going to go to projects and pulp. And we're in Savannah, and we'll go into whip. And you know what? I'm just going to put you right there. And I'm going to call you 03 because I'm losing track of what, I don't know what those are anymore. And then we'll just pop the blender open. Oh, I haven't exported you yet. Hello, Blender. All right, hit the import. Let's go to Savannah. Where am I? I'm in the templates in Savannah. We want to go up to the whip folder in Savannah and grab sort by date, so I can grab that one right there. Okay. I may have some normals flipped or something goofy like that. Let's check our face orientation. I do not have that problem. So that's not what it is. Do I have? So I'm going to straighten these out in here and maybe pull this up a little bit. I don't like the way it's crunching the belt. That just looks weird. So we're just going to take those. Set a new save for the KSP without a bunch of it. Looks neat, but never actually use that stuff. Usually, dang. Scale Z. So I'm going to pull those apart like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with these two. Scale Z. We'll pull those apart a little bit. So what I'm also going to do is, actually I'm going to then straighten this line up here. We're going to do a, why are you not selecting that point? That point. We're just to do a G stretch, but we'll change the to project. No. Spread. We'll use the spread. I'll straighten those up in a minute. I'll do the same thing with this one. Go G stretch that. I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to G stretch that. I'm going to clean this up. That should actually be a nice little circular shape in here. Actually, I did that wrong, didn't I? You know what? I'm just going to grab from here, and we'll just run along through here. And we'll just do a loop tool, and we'll say circle. And we'll scale that down. And that's what our belt buckle is going to go through. Then I'm going to match that on the bottom. And actually, I'm going to flatten that on the Z. And I'm just going to kind of do the same thing through here. All right, let's circle that puppy up. Dang, that really gets weirdly large. Why does it do that? And I don't know, does that line up or did that not? I want to say that got flipped. So I'm going to rotate on the X by 180. That's a little better. Now the idea is I can grab these and G stretch them. Although that doesn't look like it G stretched right. I'm going to hide this stuff because it's just in the way for right now. I feel like I've got extra. Are you even welded? Is that what my problem is? That looks like it's welded. It's acting like it's welded. Do I have something? Something weird between here and here. I'm going to just redo the normals. Okay, probably good. And then we'll just do that. And can I just G stretch those? So we're just going through these and G stretch them all so it makes a nice clean shape. The tricky part of this is selecting the right edges. That didn't G stretch. Are you not? You probably. Here's where I need to hide things. Oops. I lost it. I need a little more visibility in here. So we'll go ahead and just hide these polys right in here. Makes it easier for me to see what I'm working on. So our plan is to kind of get this thing lined up better. G stretch that. Oh, I didn't flatten you out, did I? So we turned this into a circle a little earlier. I should have scaled on the Z. I got something. All right, we're almost there. Oh, they're flipping around, aren't they? No, they're kind of lining up about right. There's a little bit of a twist in there. What I probably should do is just hide everything but these, and then I can just fix them up, and then we can clean up the hot mess that's behind it here. Also, it's running into this, which probably isn't helping. So let's do hot mess cleanup. Let's try that again. So I've selected the parts I want to work on. We'll just hide everything else. I'm going to try to turn that into a nice cleaner cylinder. I probably have to G-stretch all of these again then. I think I can do them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move you to line up a little bit better with that. And we're going to rotate you a little bit. Is that right? I can't tell. Nope. I need this over here. So I'm going to rotate you a bit like that. And we'll just bring you around. So you're lined up like that. And I'm just going to scale you down a little bit. And probably actually I should scale this one up a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and refix. I think if I can do every other one, I can G-stretch and kind of groups like that. And that's just not going all the way through there. Dang it. And I think I can add that, do that one. As long as they're not all in one group, I think G-stretch will let me get away with. And then we can just do the other ones. I'm off by one. I want to do that one. I want to do that one. And then we want to do this one. We're getting better. It's still a little twisted, but I'm in the ballpark. Alt H. We're going to adjust this a little bit to fit better. And I want to clean this up because this is actually clipping into my little holder in here. No, that's about right. No, you're supposed to be held like that. I need to just pull you out just a little bit. I keep hitting the wrong button over there. Control plus. There we go. Yeah, we're just going to pull you out just a little. Do I have proportional editing on? I don't. Maybe we'll just rotate you a little bit on the Z. Like so. Then I need to adjust this line right in here. I wonder if they're just different materials or something. Why are you looping all the way around like... Oh, I know what it is, because I have this connector in here. Doy, that's why it's been not selecting. That was a plan. That was a purposeful move. Just to hold that together. Alright, then I'm just going to straighten these up with the G-stretching. And I have to select these because we have those polys right behind it. I'm just going to do these one at a time. It's probably the best way. And then I can just scale on the Z a little bit and bring it down a little, straighten it up. That's probably going to be good. I'll just pull you out a little bit. Missed. I'm just gonna see. Here's where it gets tricky because now I've got multiple. They're not nice, clean. You know what? We'll just pop it over into sculpting for a second, and I'll hit the flatten contrast, and we'll make this bigger and see if I can just. That doesn't. Let's try plateau. I could also use flatten in here. I don't know. How are you looking? You're looking fine, I think. So now we're going to put the belt buckle in here. I'm just going to have the belt buckle come through here because if I have the thing with the on the other side, and we have the loop right there holding the rest of it down. That's probably going to be fine. Maybe I can do a little bit of relaxing in here. Can I do relax with the polygons? Oh, I have to pull that out a little bit off of that stuff there. I didn't like the way that went. Let me check what direction my normals are looking. Okay, that blue vector, the Z, is probably good, so I can scale Z and flatten that out a little bit, kind of like that. And then we can kind of move on over to this group. And that's looking like a decent enough. So scale Z, flatten that out, pull it out a little bit. Probably good. I'm still a little janky down here. Oh, we'll get that normal. We'll go back to global on that. Pull you out a little. Pull these out a little. I'm getting out in front of my loop now. I can see that. Maybe I should just hide the loop for a little bit. And maybe I'll hide the polys back here so I don't inadvertently. Well, that's just not going to work, is it? let's do it like this. Yeah, that works. And then I can hide those. And then I can just kind of flatten that out with the sculpting tool, and then we can readjust it and tweak it a little bit more. Sculpt mode. Let's make you bigger. Let's make you bigger. Let's try the and I accidentally, it's bleeding through. It's probably okay. It's probably fine. I'm just going to tweak this shape a little bit here. Let's put a little proportional editing on. Let's adjust our fall off. We're wheeling in. And I can just kind of pull you back out. And we'll do the same over here. Pull you back up. Actually, I don't want you to be proportional edited. I want to move you away from that point. And then we can just kind of smooth that out. And try to clean this shape up a little bit. Probably good enough. Alt H, get all my stuff back in here. All right, let's tweak this just a little bit to give it a little bit more room in here. I'm going to move these two back over here a little and up. Give it a little clearance. We'll do the same thing down here. I don't know, I'm going to hope this works. You two could probably be a little higher, get a little nicer in there. We'll just slide you down a little bit. Slide you a little bit. Slide you a little bit. Probably okay. Except I got some points from something behind this, so we're going to pull these faces out a little bit more. Probably okay. All right, let me see how this looks. And then we'll get the belt buckle in here. Do I want to move you in towards this? I don't think so. I think I'll live with that. Oakley dokley. This will be shape 3. Back in the object mode. Activate the export. We're gonna just do selected only here. And I'm not going to overwrite that because I might use that again. I have a plan. I'm going to see if I can use this shape to help also clean up the Genesis 9 shape, but I need the original. It's probably not going to work, but we'll see. Anyhow, let's pop over here. I'm going to load this in as a morph target. I'm going to color this just to make it easier to see. And go to surfaces, select that. Let's just double check. Oh, you got a bad name. I should fix you. You still have that garbage left over, and you use shirt not and shirt not. I'm not sure which is which. Okay, that's shirt not attachments. That's what that is. Those are the little things that'll be turned invisible, and then when I make the undone version, that actually, those faces get deleted out. Attachments, okay. And then this is just shirt not, which is this little bunchy part in the middle. So I'm going to have to remember to do that to the G9. I think we're good here. Attachment, knots. Okay, let me see if we can just update the shape with what we did. All we did was shape stuff. We didn't change anything. I'm going to load it in as a morph target. I'm going to dial in just to see how it looks. And if I'm relatively confident that it's okay, we'll then load it in. We'll update the geometry shape with it. Nothing quite like realizing that you screwed something up and then updated the geometry anyhow. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do baby steps. Bum, bum. Yep, it doesn't remember where I just was. Oh no. We'll go to projects. And pulp, Savannah, and whip. And now there we are. All right, there you go. Accept that. It K loaded in successfully. Yay. So there's our new shape. So I'm going to dial that in. I'm just going to take a look. I think that was the only thing that happened. I think I'm happy with that. I'm still getting that hard crease, but that's because there's a geometry, there's a faces back behind there holding stuff together. It may not be so bad when it renders. And this, I might make that larger depending on how the belt buckle is. Let's get a belt buckle. Let's take a look at recent outfits that I can pirate a belt buckle from. I may have used the belt buckle I want to use on here on the crossroads. So we'll go take a look over there. Probably easiest to go through my promos and see what we've got, what we've done recently. That was, I have a bad tendency doing that. In here, I just need to click once. If I double click, it ends up moving too fast. Promos. So we're going to go back to Crossroads because that had a belt. Kind of like, I'm not sure I want the D shape though, but I can probably straighten that out. So we may go to steal the Crossroads belt. We'll see what else we done. I know the last one I did had a piece of metal on both sides. That's not what I'm wanting here. Sassy Heatwave, Parian. You know, where's the Night Veil? What did I use on that? Oh, hold on a second. All right, we're back. Was I looking at that? See, that's not the belt buckle I want either. You know what? We'll go steal the Crossroads belt buckle. And I think I want to just square it off a bit more. So we'll start with that. Actually, we have this in Blender, so we can just it should just be a matter of importing. I usually will save belt buckles in a nice zeroed position, so hopefully that's what we did. I think Crossroads is over in Fantasy. And then Crossroads. Crossroads should be out next week, fingers crossed. It got bypassed. It and the Sassy Heatwave were bypassed, and they released the Night something. The Night Veil Rogue outfit got released. Freaking Daz. What are we looking for? Fantasy. There we go. Crossroads. These are all in the store except for Crossroads. You can tell they're done projects because they have a little hyphen on the end of them. Whip. We are looking for a belt buckle. That one should do. Oh, you're set up in place. I'm going to zero you out. Let's tab in. Select all. And we're just going to move you down to 0. And I'm just going to. Here, we'll do. So we're going to remove a lot of these. Pull this. I just need a little bit of an angle. So a lot of this in here is going to go. I'm going to then pull it out, make it a little bit wider on the end. Anywho, let's get this straightened up. I'm just going to rotate you around, kind of like that. And we're going to rotate you around. So those kind of going straight up and down. I'm having a hard time seeing. I think that, and then this. So I think I'm off. I think this is off. I'll straighten that back up. How are you looking? You're looking okay. We're going to put it so that the origin is sitting right here in the on the bar. Right about in there. I should angle this so our flat comes right through there. So I'm going to center my on the 3D cursor, and then I can just kind of rotate it so that I kind of sit like that. Do I want to do that, or do I want to? No, you know what? I'm going to leave it like that. That's probably good. I've got some goofiness in my geometry in here. Let's go fix that up. You know what? It's just a matter of sliding that back, probably. Why do I have... You know what? I'm going to dissolve. I'm going to rebuild some of this, I think. It did not smooth really nicely, did it? I think we're just going to delete those. I'm going to flatten this out. Scale, what, X0 maybe? Yes, scale X0. And I'll just pull that out over here. I should probably just remake this. You know what? That's going to just be easier. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to remake this. This is obviously a little janked up, but not that you could ever spot it, really. In that, look at the normals. Anyhow, let's Shift A. Mesh. Let's just get a cube in here. What was the last outfit I did with a belt? I want to think that I've got a good one floating around. Yeah, I refuse to. I'm not giving up. Linda Trenchcoat had a good one, I think. Let's go grab that. And I think it's got a thing on the other side, but we'll chop that off and flatten out the back. I think I can get away with that. So back in the blender, I'm going to undo you. I'm going to just get rid of you. Am I in that mode? We'll just do another import. We'll just go find the, I think Linda Trenchcoat's got its own folder. I don't know what I did. I think it, why did you do that? I hit a shortcut key. That's right. I keep forgetting you can't type letters in here and navigate to where you need to go. Somewhere in here should be a, just a buckle. Buckles, buckle one. I don't know, let's try you. That's not what I wanted. Coat buckle 01. There we go. That's much nicer looking. I'm going to flip it around the other way. We're going to chop the back. Actually, I can just flip you around. We're going to chop off here, seal those up. Actually, I do want, I'd like this flange here. A R Z 180. Excellent. I'll just grab those and we'll just expand that out to about here for now. Delete those. Delete. Let's see if I can select that and that. Missed. That. That and that. That and that and that and that. That and that and that. I think I'm still going to have a few left over. Oh no. I didn't. Oh no, you looped all the way around. Where did you do that? You did it over there. You know what? Let's do it like this. Select you, expand. a couple, and delete. Select you, expand, and delete. Okay, these should be open edges that I can probably just scale and pull back out that way. And then I'm just going to seal the back of these off. I'm going to grid fill these. Can I grid fill both of these at once? Is that something I can do in point mode? Nope, I have to switch over to that, and then I think I can grid fill. In edge mode, I had to switch edges. No, they're still, do I have to do them one at a time? I have to do them one at a time. Is that what I want, though? Almost. I think I'm going to pull those in a little bit. Or do I want those rounded out? Maybe I should just remodel. I'm going to keep that. That's a good shape. I'm just going to rebuild this out of a cube. I get what I want. Am I in edit mode? I'm not. No, I am. I added the cube while I was in edit mode, so it's part of the object. Let's try this outside of edit mode. Let's not do that. Let's do the wrong button there. Okay, then we pop in, scale my cube down to about there. I'm gonna line you up like that. I'm gonna flatten you out. Is good. How do I want to do this today? I think I'm going to put a loop cut in here. And then I'm going to do an inset. Oops. There we go. Then I'm just going to do an inset for a hole. Maybe bring you back a little bit. We'll bridge those. Now I got my hole in here. You know what? I'm going to move this back so it's kind of centered. And you know, I'm doing some tweaking in here. I'm building the shape I want, not the shape I have. I'm going to slide these a little forward because I want these. I want those kind of there, and then I'm going to merge these points together. Are you straight? You look straight. Okay. I hit the wrong button. Merge it last. I hit the N again. All right, that's the shape I want. I want to move. Here, I'm going to just pop in here and steal this thing. We're going to get rid of this. All right, we're going to adjust. You know what? I do want to cut through there, don't I? I'm just going to knife that out. We'll straighten it up in a second. I'm going to delete those little diagonals in there. Did you go all the way? You did. Nice. Scale X 0. Does that work? That kind of works. These I don't need, so we'll just dissolve them out. These I want to just slide up a little bit into the center. And I'm just going to put the whole thing. My center bar is going to pull out of these. And then I'm going to get rid of those in the middle. I'm going to scale. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put a little bar in here. Right about in here. Those go away. These I'm going to close up. I'm going to actually grid fill those. Actually, I'm not going to grid fill it. I'm just going to do face. That's easier, and it makes sure it's going in the right direction. I'm going to bring, and then I can put and slide it down a little bit. So we're going to do an inset, then we're going to circle them up, then we're going to connect a bar across. And then I'm going to reshape this a little bit more, reshape that a little bit more. We'll put that on. I have turned this upside down. That's better. It's supposed to line up with this. I've lost chat, sorry. I got so many things. Nothing is happening in chat. Excellent. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to select these faces in here and here. We'll do a little inset. And then I'm going to select the outer sides of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can I do both of these at the same time? All right, let's loop tool circle. Oh, good, they both went the same way. Then we're going to scale, but not on the Y. So Shift Y, make this a little bit smaller. And we'll rotate on the X to just clean up that orientation. Oops. We're going to rotate on the Y to clean up that orientation. Kind of like that. Maybe bring you down just a hair. Then I can bridge. I think I can bridge these. Like so. We're going to make this middle a little narrower. So I'm just going to scale that, but not on the Y. I think I want to pull this whole thing down a little, which means I'm going to also want to pull these down. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm actually going to flatten this out. This is a little thick. Pull you back. Oops, I thought I only... I want to put a loop cut in here because I want a little bit more definition on that edge. Oh, I'm still centering on the, so I kind of wanted to do that. Kind of want to bring those in a little. Then we're just going to tweak this. Like that. I'm almost probably okay. All right, let's put subdivision on it and harden up these edges. And we'll join that in a minute here. So I'm just going to add one level. That was materials. Actually, this we'll just call this buckle. Buckle for now. Maybe without the cap lock. And we'll also put buckle on you. I could say belt buckle. Yeah, I do have the option for that, don't I? You know what? We'll just say belt buckle. So what are you now? You're still buckle, of course. Because that's not the way you apply multiple materials. Let's do a modifier. Let's do subdivision. Generate subdivision. It's always flipping on the generate subdivision. I'm going to crease up some of these edges a little harder. That one. And that one we're going to adjust and just around through here. And we'll switch over to edges. Maybe not that. Maybe not that. And maybe not that. Actually, I do want that. Through here. On the insides. There. Did you go all the way around? You did. Good boy. That was the wrong one. No, I got those. Those are fine. There's a couple in here I can't see, so I'm going to just hide you for a second while I grab that and that. You I don't need. Oh, you're that, aren't you? But I don't need you to go all the way around like that. I need you to go through there like that. I'm going to just manually select this. Baby steps. Am I good? I think I'm close. I may or may not clip that, but we'll see how it goes. So we're just going to increase that out. And how are you looking? Oh, I need to put some creases in these corners here. Right here and here. There and there. And I probably should. Oh, I got you guys already done. Okay, so what is giving me that strange? Trying to fix that weird. And I probably should crease up in here a little bit more. I don't see. I'm gonna switch you back to. Dang it. We'll go back to median point, and I wanted both of those. Red is X, so scale X is 0. And then I can just do that, but that didn't. Oh, you didn't click all the way through. That's what. Did you not click all the way through either? Is that what's causing my. That was causing my issue. Are you looking okay now? It's better. I kind of like that. We're getting there. There should be a line right there. Maybe another one right about in there. Can I live with that? Am I getting any really weirdo geometry? I mean, without turning all my edges hard. I don't know. Maybe I should just go ahead and you're supposed to be clicked around through there. That might be okay. I think that's going to be fine. We're going to work with that. All right, let's combine that with it. Look at all those 2A. Let's clear the sharps. I'm just going to stretch that out to fit over here. So we'll just like grab this in here. Expand you out. And we'll just pull you over with some proportional editing. So that should be about right. All right, let's combine these. Control J. All right, let's pop over UV editing really quick. I'm just going to smart unwrap this because I don't really care. I'm just going to pack master that to see if it can make it into a little tighter bundle of happiness. Look at that. Then I'm just going to move these off to the side because we're going to scale these to the rest of the outfit in a minute. Okay, back to layout. I'm going to duplicate this because I want to keep a good copy of it. And we'll just kind of see how this lines up on here. This is just to see if I need to adjust some widths and things. Also, I may want to make that larger. Okay, am I on local scale? See that? We need to make you bigger. At least up and down. I should have made you as a duplicate. You know what? We're going to do that. Actually, can I control C that? And then can we come over here? This way I can make edits to the main one. And is it Shift D? No, it's Alt D. Never mind. Alt D makes a linked copy. Did I get my linked copy? I did not. Let's try that again. Is it Alt D? I said Alt D and then hit Control D. And then I move that. And then if I come into here, is that doing what I think it does? Yes, okay. So now I can make edits on the flat one and it'll affect this one. And let me just make sure I got my old. I want to set my center of rotation. We're getting there. I need to do that because I want my center to be right here through the bar. So we're just going to do that. Then we're just going to set origin to nope, I didn't want you. What it set origin to 3D cursor. And that way Shift D. There it is. So my center of rotation is right there. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do an Alt D. Let's try that again. I said Alt D and I hit Control D again. All right. Now I'm going to work local. I'm going to work global, but when we can switch to local later. Okay. We'll turn off that X-ray. So I want you to line up in here. And ideally, we're going to put you through that little doohickey in there. Should be. I think I straightened that up straight up and down, right? So I didn't need to rotate that. Yeah, I'm probably going to want to adjust some stuff. Let's get you just like that. So I'm going to edit this. Where I need to go, I probably need to. So I actually need to get these out past here. And I need to rotate that. I need to just twist it in a little with a better angle or straighten this up. And then we can scale Y0. We'll just scale Y0. Actually, I'm doing proportional editing. I shouldn't do that. I did the wrong one. I said scale Y0 and then I so that kind of cleans it up. So that's kind of belt's going to go in there somewhere. We're getting there. My bar's going to kind of line up into that right about there. So we'll look at you from the bottom, because if I look at from the top, I got garbage in the way. Switch over to points. We'll do the X-ray because then I can just grab this. And I'm going to try to type in a number to move it to about here so that I can then do the same over here. Or I can do this, you know what, we're going to do it. No, we're going to do it that way. Or I'm going to, I see a line on both sides. So what we're going to do is try to take this edge and put it right about there. And I can kind of position that the same way on the other one. So I think that was good. I wanted to move, you know what, we're going to fix those later. And then I want to line this up right about in here. which I think is right about there. So these I need to move. I'll just scale on the Y, I think, with those. I can just do that. Okay, now that's now visually distracting. We will select that and see how we're looking. Almost there. I'm going to make that a little bit wider. So back to this one. I'm going to actually just scale it this time. Because we're really close. So there's a little distortion from scaling. I got to make sure I do X-ray or I'm going to miss things. So we're just going to, and then, dang it, do that and do that. Well, that's about right. It actually selected everything. I just need to scale the whole thing. Scale, Y. I'm just going to pull you all out just a little bit like that. And back to this. Turn that off. I think I'm perfect. I think I want to pull the belt out just a little through here. And that's where we're going to put our holes. Actually, that's going to be the guide for where we're going to line up the holes. Okay, all of that. So this belt is ready to go out. I probably should have oriented it up and down. We'll do that. I'm going to move it anyhow. Can I just orient you? RX90. So is my center point still good? My center point's still good. Okay, that's my belt buckle. Oh, I wanted to scale this to the outfit. That's right. Let's do that. We're scaling the UVs. Dum, 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 dum. Come over here to UV editing. There's our belt buckle. We're going to use the magic that is whatever hell this is. We're going to stick it in the corner. This area down here is reserved for socks. And actually I can update. I think I can update substance with this. Anyhow, what are we doing? We're going to come over here and we're going to adjust TD textile density to match selected so that this is more or less scaled so that it has the same textile density as the rest of the outfit. Boom. There it goes. He is tiny. That's what's expected though. You're going to live over there in the corner. That's your new home. I hope you're happy. I need buttons too. I have buttons. I'm just going to steal buttons from something else. And I'm just going to reuse all my button textures again because I'm that lazy. Alrighty, where are we at? We're ready to export out our belt buckle. I could just export. I'm going to export that as a guide, but I don't want to use it because of its... I want to use a 0. Actually, this is a... That's relatively... I can just probably just get away with this. Where am I? I'm in object mode. You're not selected. Now you're selected. Now we're going to export you. Make sure to use the DAS preset. And Savannah buckle. I'm just going to say buckle because we're going to use this on both of them. And I'm going to say belt buckle just to be a little clearer. Even though I think I don't need to. Belt buckle. That's a J. Belt buckle. There we go. Should... Excuse me. All right. There we go. And away we go. Let's pop over back to DAS. I made some changes to you again, so I have to export you out again. And then I'm pretty confident with this shape, so we're just going to go ahead and update the geometry this time. I'm going to save you as... That says trench coat. I hit the wrong button. Let's do date modified because I'm going to overwrite that 04 that we sent out last time. In here, I'm going to just delete that because I don't need it anymore. I'm pretty confident that it's looking okay. Go into edit mode so I can get rid of this before I save it. Delete selected property. We're going to, we have this, we'll come over here, update base geometry. Update vertex position from file. That's all I want to do. I don't need to do anything else with that. I am lost. I'm still lost. Let's go to projects. We'll just work our way back down. I'm sliding in my chair. I am looking for the outfit 04G. There we go. All right. Update. Everything's good there. There's my new shape. I probably should make that bigger, actually. This. We're going to do that. I'm almost there. This thing in here I'm going to make larger. Actually, it's not. And do I have you set up? I might have to make a separate material zone out of this as well. So we're going to scale, but not on the Z. So I'm just going to do that. And I think we're good. And then we're just going to export you out again. And then we'll just re-update. Oops. It got a little larger. It was hard to see. All right, load in our belt buckle. Okie dokie. I'm just going to go ahead and just apply my base shader to that. It just says belt buckle. Kind of like we planned it that way. We're going to save this as a figure prop asset and then reload it back in. Out over here. Pulp. Savannah. I'm going to go ahead and just stick this in the Genesis 8. The file we're saving right now, we're not going to keep. This one right here. This is going to generate the data behind the belt buckle, and then later on we'll use it in a wearable preset. But for right now, and then this file I don't need anymore once it's part of a wearable preset. But I do need to do this to generate the data behind it. So you are Savannah. I am going to set a category type for this. You are an accessory waste. Okay, I'm going to delete that. We're going to load in the yay. All right. Let's see how this goes. We will eventually add a rigid follow node in here to hold this in place. Are you in the wrong? Hold on. I think I might have to do, I forgot to do the rigging thing. Control E, Control F. Yeah, we're going to rig it. I forgot. It doesn't, when you bring an object in, it kind of figures out where it wants the origin, despite the fact that I actually wanted it at 0. So I have to fix that with the this. We'll do that. Tool settings. We're just going to set the origin to 0 after I went to all that trouble. And you know what? I'm just going to move you down like that. I don't actually need that, but it always just looks a little neater. All right, now we're good. Now I'm just going to resave you as a figure prop asset. with our new orientation. Actually, I'm going to clean up something real quick here in the scene identifier. I think, hold on, let me see what my scene identifier looks like. I'm in the wrong tab. Scene identifier, asset. Do I get a scene identifier? Is it edit? Oh, edit scene identification. Oh, that looks good. That doesn't have some sort of goofy ass name to it. All right. Now we'll just overwrite buckle with that. All good. I think I can just reload just to be sure. Is good. My origin's now right in the center, so it makes it much easier to position this because our center should be along that bar. Drag you up here. Control F, zoom in on it. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm in too close. You get too close and everything turns frickin' black. It's so annoying. Okay, I think that... So our belt buckle's going to end up right about in there. So this gives me... So I'm going to load the texture. So when we're doing the textures, I can now see where I need to put my holes. And there's going to be a little bit of displacement. So we're probably going to rotate this out a little bit. When we had our displacement map. Did I do the displacement map? I don't know. Anywho, what am I doing? I am turning on the wire texture shaded. So this kind of tells me exactly. I'm going to start there, although when it pops up, I probably need to put the hole over here. Anyhow, all of that, an hour and a half later, I've got a belt buckle done. We did redo the shape of the pants to fit the belt buckle, so that it's a little happier. Did I not open Substance? I did. Where are you? There you are. So now we can come in here. This geometry doesn't exactly line up, but it should be fine. It gives me a close enough. That's the wrong thing. We're going to put Blender off to the side for a second, and because I want to look at Daz. So we can see 1, 2, and 1, 2. We can see where our hole is going to go right about there. Here's my buttonholes. Let's do, so we're going to do a paint layer. I'm just going to make a divot. I'm going to kind of try to figure out. So I'm going to run like 5 of these through here. We're actually going to run them through the 2D view. Then I'm going to save out. So this was like the last thing I need to do before I can start actually saving this texture. And that's the reason why we're back in here. And there's the belt down here, and we are looking at down in here. So I'm probably right about there. So let's do... I just need some hole maps is what I need, and I think I've got some. And actually, I think they're alphas. Are you my alphas? You're my textures. You're my alphas. All right, so we're going to do that, and I'm looking for, you know, something like that. Is that going to be good enough? Do I have a... Can I invert the... Actually, yeah, we're going to use that as an alpha on a brush. We're going to swap out the default for this. It's got a nice hard edge to it. And we're going to paint a color. And we're going to do height. And do I want to also do opacity with this? I don't think I'm going to do. Maybe I should do. It's a little larger than I. Do I have one that's a little bit smaller than that though? See, that would be good for opacity. So let's come over here and say opacity. And let me put that on. So that should give us our. And I'm going to set up. So when I do that. Oh, my base color is still white. So I have to set this up so that it spaces out a lot farther. So we'll come in here and take our spacing and really crank that up. That's almost right. That's a little larger than I want. And we're missing our mark. We want our mark to be right about there, which is this one here. And I want that to be spaced out a little bit further maybe. And I want it to be maybe a little smaller. So we'll kind of start in here, kind of run that way. And the idea is I'm going to just kind of do that until we hit our mark and we're totally off by 1. So maybe we start here, run straight across. I think I'm close. I'm a little higher than I want to be. I think that might work. Let's see how this lines up. Also, let's check our opacity. So we got our holes in there. Nice. I'm going to put a height to normal in here, so we also get this baked into the normal map. So we'll take a look at the height map. That's the roughness map. I hate the way the height maps look in here because it doesn't really show me anything. I don't even know why I'm doing that because everything's black, even though this is blacker than black. I don't get the way that it displays height maps. Uh, Anyhow, if you go over to the normal map, we don't see that, so we're going to set this up so that it does. Also, do I see a leather texture? I don't see a leather texture in here either. Let's make sure we set the leather texture up for that. Let's put a filter. This is going to be, what is it, belt holes. There's probably a better term for that, but I know what that means. Add a filter. Gonna come over here. We're gonna take height to normal. There we go. Although that's too whacked. The default setting on this is so incredibly whacked. That's better. That's still a little high. Maybe I'll just 0.2. Maybe we'll do that. Also, did I paint on... Did I accidentally get this on the waistband? I don't think so. I did accidentally get it on the waistband. All right, we're going to redo that. That's okay. We have the technology to fix it. I'm going to erase that and then repaint it because I forgot to switch it over to UVs. We're on tangent wrap. So it kind of bleeds through to other stuff. Yeah, let's get the eraser tool. I'm going to leave that on tangent wrap. I'm going to set this to erase everything. And then I can just clear that out. And now we'll redraw it. And now I forgot where my mark was. My mark is right there. Okay. My mark is right there. And we're going to come back to here. And I'm going to try to eyeball in my mark. And I think I'm on target. Okay, this is good. My belt buckle is not showing any normals from the leather though. So you know what? I'm gonna put a height to normal on here. I'm not seeing anything. Am I even getting height map with this leather? Let's see. Base color. Base color. Base color does have a height map. I'm not really seeing it though. Base noise. It's just doing the roughness. That's just color and roughness. That's just so the only one, and I'm not really seeing you doing anything. And you're supposed to be producing a normal, but I don't really see that. This might be okay. I'm probably overthinking. Uh, okay. Do I have the sock color set up? I do. I've got the white ones clicked on right now. That's the reason. So let's do. I think I'm ready to go. We'll do the khaki set first. So I don't really need you. Can I just, we can trash can that because this actually has a, which isn't being really, so I have a tan, white, black, and brown. We'll use the tan with the khaki. I think I'm ready to set this up and see how we're lining up in Z Dash Studio. Control Shift E. We're just going to do, I'm going to do 6 channels. I'm going to do 8K to start with. I'll probably reduce everything but my displacement map. And I'm going to use the height. Did I already save my ID map? I don't remember. And yeah, let's export you. I do need to export out an ID map. We'll go take a look. See if we already did the ID map while that's calculating stuff. I do have an ID map done. Okay. Maybe I should just do the belt buckle separate. You know, I'm probably going to remap that belt buckle to fit a whole thing. And then we'll just use like a 512 texture for those. And I'll just do like brass, gold, silver, and steel. Or I can bring that in. You know what? Maybe I'll just add that to the, and we'll update, and then I can just color that out. Anyhow, I'm thinking we'll fix that in a second. Open output directory. I got stuff left over from before. I'm just going to clean out everything that's in here and re-export that. Okay, do I still have this open? I do. Boy, that's kind of a weird looking normal map. Metallic map looks good. You're going to be khaki and tan. Oh no. Khaki tan. I think the rest of this is probably good. So let's just cut all that, move it over to our useful. Outfit, there we go. I did set up a displacement map, and I have a height and a normal map sitting in here. We're gonna get rid of those. I'm gonna keep that displacement map. I'll probably tweak that later. And let's see how this is looking in DAZ. I'm gonna go ahead and set this. This is for the socks and the outfit, so we'll select both. We'll pop over here. We'll grab all of that like so. We'll come over to here. I'm gonna switch that to extra large icons just so we can kind of see the little pretty, my pretty. All right. I think the only place I'm using the opacity map is on the belt, so we'll probably put that on last. There we go, base color. Metallicity goes there. You are my roughness. Put you into the glossy roughness. Got my normal map. We got our height map. We got our displacement map. Gonna remember to turn that displacement strength until someday when I update this shader, and I'll automatically have that set to 6. Then the opacity is just for the belt. So I'm only going to put the opacity map on that. Helps minimize that goofy transparency stuff. There we go. Cut out opacity. Boom. Let's see how this is lining up. I'm going to set this to iRay. Hopefully it doesn't kill the stream completely. Ideally, I want this coming through a hole. And see, we're off by quite a bit there. So back to the drawing board on that. How's my displacement looking on you, by the way? Is my belt looking like it? Does everything look like it's got thickness? Sort of. I might kick up the displacement on the belt. Actually. I got belt loops. That's that belt right there. Attachments. Belt. I'm going to also have to, I need to add a material for the very end of this too. So we'll do that as well. So before I got to remember to do that before I make map files. You know what? Also, I don't have my smoothing modifier on. Do I even have a smoothing modifier? Savannah Alpha G8 female. Where am I? Mass resolution. I do have. And we'll put the smoothing on. I think I'm going to tweak my displacement map to be a little sharper on the edges. And maybe we make the belt a little thicker. So right now it's got like 1.5 millimeters. Oops, that was too much. That was 5 millimeters. It kind of looks kind of nice, but maybe 2.5 will give me kind of the nice thickness on the belt. I like that. Now we just have to put those holes in the right spot. Also, I should add. I'm going to reblend the height map back in. There's a little bit of the height map blacked into the displacement. We're also going to punch up the displacement in these holes so that they're look deeper. But anyhow, let's adjust this so it's over. That's almost halfway between where we are now. So I just kind of have to start that there. So back over to. So a couple of things. I want to sharpen up my displacement. And I need to still tweak the placement of these. So I want this to be here. You know what I'm going to do? Can I just duplicate, just do that so I can paint on a separate layer. And then I can get rid of the layer I don't want. That eye ray is killing me. Let's turn that off. Yeah, you can see I'm missing over there too. So anyhow, let's put you like maybe right about there. And run you out. I ran off the edge. Run you out to here. Now we can hide that. And I need to add the height to normal on that. Can I just copy and paste effect? Okay, let's try this again. Also, let me launch Photoshop. We'll tweak the displacement map too. And we'll add the holes under the displacement map. I don't have recents, do I? I do. I think I want that one. So we're going to want to add holes to line up with those. So the displacement map also shows that thickness. That is done. We're going to rename you khaki and tan. Run back over to here. Why am I only getting, because I misspelled khaki and tan probably. Oh, I forgot to put this space in between the two. There we go. And over here, we're going to take the height map and drag and drop that into here. And now I can see where those little dots are. So I'm going to make my dots a little bit, well, about that size actually. Or we can just do this. Actually, I didn't rasterize you. Oh, I didn't. That's going to be fine. Maybe I'm just going to make these just a hair larger. Select, modify, expand, 1. I'm just going to put a new layer in here. I'm just going to fill that with black. This is hidden behind here. What are your settings? Your multiply in 100, and I think I tweaked the curves or something. So that's the old height map. So we'll just get rid of that. I'm just going to I gotta rasterize that. Then I'm going to set it to multiply. And Control D, and these with the inner glows, I'm going to tweak the settings on those. Let's try 6. And then we'll save this. We'll do save with that. And then we're going to export it out. File, export as. I'm in documents. I don't want to be in documents. You know, that whip folder's probably close. There we go. Runtime, textures, Savannah, outfit. I'm going to overwrite that displacement map with this one. And then we'll take a look over here. And nope. Do I need to save this? I'm going to keep you open just in case, but I'm going to put you over there because I keep accidentally thinking it. You're Daz, and you're not Daz. All right, let's refresh the textures and see if we can get those to update. That didn't really refresh, did it? I have to, maybe if we control R. My textures are still in the same place despite the fact we shifted them off. There we go. I think I lost my khaki map though. Hey, but at least we got the belt buckle in the right spot now. And you can see the displacement, although we're getting blown out on this render. My preview isn't quite updating for what, so if I do this, this should then be inside. We should have our khaki colors and that should be looking good. And hopefully we have a little sharper edge on the rest of this. And are you set to, oh, my black dots are off. Everything else is on though, but the color's off. Did I jank the color up somehow? Let's resave the color map. Everything else matches. My color, the color on the color map didn't go. Let's just save the color. Save that color. Save that color. Base color. There we go. Export. I totally, because all the other stuff was in the right spot. Why did the color stay in the wrong spot? Because I probably, I don't know, saved the wrong map or something. All right, let's call you Khaki Tan. And move you over to there. And come back over into here and reload that. And we impatiently wait. There we go. That's much better. I'm getting a little, that's a displacement split, I think. Also, the preview never looks quite as good as the actual render. It does weird, janky, often doesn't smooth shit. Even though you've got it set to like high resolution and your mesh smoothing's on, you often don't even, I often don't see that with the displacement maps generated in the preview. Anyhow, I think I'm good with this. I think I'm going to redo the belt buckle mapping though. I've changed my mind about having it on the same map, but I'll just put it on its own map, and I'll just have to make its own set of brass, gold, silver, and steel textures for that. Anyhow, that's taking its time. So that gets us kind of through the texturing portion that I didn't want to take this long, but of course it always takes much longer than it should. You are good. We're going to hit save on you and close you. I'm somewhat happy with that. You are... I'm ready to just start cranking the textures out now because that was the last step, was getting those holes lined up. So that's good. So we'll hit save on that. My dad's studio is freaking out because it probably ran out of graphics memory. Hopefully the stream's still running. I'm going to switch this back to texture shaded. See, we're looking fine. Okay. I'm going to just hit render. I can't. I want to see how it looks if I just do a real render here. See, that looks much better. We have our fake thickness. The normal map isn't breaking in that spot. That's what was causing that, was actually displacement with the normal map. Actually, it's the displacement map that was doing that. I think I'm going to make those darker, though, when I save these back out again. My threads are a little light. I'm going to dial them in darker, if they're even there. Anyhow, yeah. Okay, we're done with that. Do I need to keep Daz open? I'm going to keep Daz open just in case. But we're going to work on a compass, a canteen, and a hat. And I have an hour. The hat's the important thing, so let's do that first. I'm not going to do all of the hat because there's the weird band on it that is going to be tricky for me to do. So I may or may not actually do that, but it looks cool. The compass should be relatively quick. I think I'm going to go shopping. I think the one that I saw might have been this original pith helmet from here. What I'm looking for is a picture of the underside. This one right here. This gives me the basic, the basic shape I need to build too. Because this is always the weirdest part, is just, how to get the oval shape just right. The rest of this I can kind of eyeball out. Does this have dimensions, by the way? It does. 2.5 side brims, 2 3/4 front and back brims from here to here, and from here to here. How big is the... So what I can do is I can kind of rough out this shape around the head, and then we kind of have an idea. I probably just eyeball this though. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to save this image. I'm going to put that over onto my desktop. I'm just going to put that over into a new folder on the desktop. Right there, pith helmet, so I can find it. And then we'll go into Blender and start going to town there. And we actually kind of have Blender open already, so. So what do we know? We know... What did that say, 2.5? What are hat sizes anyhow? If I know what that means, I then can figure out what it actually means as far as dimensions. Find your hat size, measure the circumference. Using a tape measure. A medium is generally 22.5 inches. So is the hat size the diameter? What are hat sizes based on? I mean, it's based. Yeah, but you get that, and then how do you get? How do you get 21 to 22 inches to be 7 3/4? That almost looks like you're just dividing by pi, is what I'm guessing. Yeah, it's pi. So basically, it's the diameter. Although, granted, there's like differences between the front and the back and the sides. So if I say 7 inches across, and then we add another 5 for the 2.5 for the brims, we're looking at like what, 13. So whatever that is. In centimeters. So we're looking at like 33. So that's my target number. Okay. So we're going to load in our reference photo. Is that just is it Shift A? Is that what it is? I'm going to do an image. And I'm going to do a reference. And I'm going to go to my desktop. And I'm going to go to this. And there's the pith helmet we just. And we're going to bring that in. And then we're just going to size that way down. So I need a cylinder in here to work with. And I'm going to size that cylinder to be, but I want it 7. So the radius point 0.065. That's totally not right. No, it was supposed to be 33. So 15, 16, 17. 0.17. There we go. That's going to kind of be our hat size. You know what? I'm right about there. So the trick is then to make this line up with that, basically. I think I'll start with this. We're just going to go with a circle to begin with. And I'm just going to hide everything else in here. And let's get Blender back to size. All right, we're going to hide you. We're going to hide the belt buckles. We're going to actually call you Buckle so I can find you later. You're going to be Buckle 002, the electric boogaloo. Buckle 002, there we go. All right, let's Shift A. We're going to just bring a circle in here to start with. And 0.17. 32 is probably okay. I can just probably drop underneath here and we'll just work on from here. So I want to just get this to the center. Just like that. Okay. Tab in. Right, select my object. Hit the tab key to go into edit mode. Select A. Scale Z. We'll just bring these in a little bit. This isn't exactly center, so we're going to scale Y until it looks like I'm going the wrong way. A, scale Y. I think that'll be fine. I'm going to flatten these out. We're going to use a little proportional editing on that. So that we're kind of curving it out a little bit more like that. Is good. All right. 3A. Inset. Inset. No, you're not. You don't have a. There we go. Then I can do the inset. And I got to set this to X-ray. And then we're just going to kind of line it up in here. Nope, I don't need the proportional editing right now. Kind of like that. What I need in here now is a character. Well, we're going to block this out and then we'll come back to it. Let's go get... Do I still have those images up? Where did they go? Oh, no. Let me see if we can find a nice one. That's not quite accurate, but I can kind of get a feel. And this is the sort of pattern. I don't know. Maybe I should just do that as a texture pattern. And we'll just put that in with the normal app. That's probably the easiest thing to do. I can actually do that in Photoshop, set that up, that we can then add as a height map. That's what I'm going to do. This is made out of this is actually the material is called pith. It comes from some sort of plant. I think it's pounded out and shaped. What do they actually? What do they make? No, it's like strips of bark. I saw this, and they kind of lay it up on this mold and flatten it out, or strips of pulp. They line it up on this mold. They flatten it out. They shape it down, and then they cover it in canvas. Anywho, save image as. Is that my new file? It is. Yay. Let's come back over. Let's look at it this way. Let's import another. Shift A. We'll do another reference image. I'm looking at it, aren't I? Image reference. We'll grab the back. And we'll scale that down to about somewhere in there might be about right. So I'm going to want this to come up to, well, we can tweak the curves later. Anyhow, let's pop back into here. I'm totally got the wrong thing selected, don't I? You're totally the wrong size. That's better. I don't know, something like that. Then we can just put this in, and that'll get out that curve a little bit. And then I can use my bevel trick to kind of smooth stuff down. We'll add a little trim on the edge of that eventually. We'll just take you. It has a nice thickness on that edge. Scale that in a little bit. And I can just kind of extrude you. And then we can just kind of do the bevel. And a little bit of scaling. It's now going to be a matter of just kind of getting this to be I feel like I went too far, although I was lining up with the I'm going to put some subdivision on this. Let's crease those. Let's come over here and add our subdivision. Hey, I'm done. Not quite, not quite. I think it needs to be a little. Now we can just kind of adjust. I'm in the ballpark though. I think I want a little bit more. So we'll slide you down maybe a bit. I'm going to put shade smooth. I'm going to circle out that top a little at the very top. But for right now, I think that's good. It's kind of like a little cap on the top, so I'm probably going to get a circle lined up on that, pop it off and pull it up, and then I can kind of try to make that kind of, I guess that's a vent or something. And then we want to sort of, did I do 32? Damn it. I totally should have done 36. 32 might work out. 36, there's 6 divisions in here. Does this actually show the top, by the way? That would have been too easy. I'm going to have to eyeball it. And we are going to put the strap on here. And these will just be textures. I think I'm going to just mark small divots in here for those. I do want to mark out a spot there that'll make it easy. Am I just going to pop that up? I think I'm just going to pop that edge up just a little bit. I don't think I'm going to bother. Actually, maybe I will just put a band in here. Just one band in here on the inside. We'll have thickness, and the thickness will just come up to about where the band is. Then we won't have anything past that. Or do I want to just double? You see, there's the vent. It's got a little vent hole. I'm thinking. Maybe I'll put a little hole in the top, and then I can put the vent on top. I'm spending too much time angsting over a freaking pith helmet. But it's going to be the best pith helmet. Anyhow, let's tweak. So that's an awkward shape, I know. I'm just going to do an inset, and then we're just going to use the magic of loop tools, turn that into a circle. And that's going to become our, and I would just want that to kind of scale up to about there. And I might even just pop that open, and then we can just put a little shape on top. How do I want to build this thing? I'm trying to think of a way to cut corners out of this. You know what? I might make that out of a square. Isn't there a way to turn a square to a... We can subdivide the shit out of a square and maybe break the edges off or something. I'm getting an idea. I know, let me try it. Let's just get our square in here, and I'm going to try to build that shape based on what I think it should look like. We'll start with a cube. And when I say square, I mean a cube. And then if we just subdivide the shit out of that, well, by subdivide the shit out of it, I mean maybe a couple of subdivision. And what I'm going to look to do is I want kind of something on the side so that I can kind of delete out. And I'm kind of getting, see right here, this shape right in here. That's what I want. Yeah. And then I could cut this off, and I got that little weird goopy there. I think that might do the trick. Is that going to be too... Sometimes it helps if I look at this. I can work with that. I can work with that, I think. Yeah. All right, let's apply this. Right? Pop back into here. I'm just going to delete the parts I don't want, which is... I went too far because I probably selected the wrong... I thought I selected that. You're not going up evenly, are you? You hate me. That's what I wanted. That's about right. So delete those. Maybe circle these up. And then I can get rid of these. That's kind of like that, except this is a little bit larger through here. So I think I'm just going to scale, oops, scale that. Dang it. I think that's kind of what the shape is. Add a little solidify to that and increase these. And we can put some subdivision on here. I think that's kind of it. Generate subdivision. But I can come over here to vertex crease those. Kick that up a level. I think the middle's still a little bit larger. And then I can just, I think I need to pull these down just a little bit. You know, that subdivision's outward. So maybe pull these four up. Maybe take these down. I think that's going to give me a relative. And then I'll, do I want to solidify the whole thing? All those extra polys on the inside that you will never see. I don't think so. I think we'll just do the edge. So let's add a solidify. Let me scale this down to where it needs to be, though. So I think it could stand to be a little bit taller. And a little bit smaller. And something like that. That's crooked. That's not lining up on the seam. I think the idea is to put the vent holes, here, we'll just rotate Z45. That was the wrong number. Rotate Z45. So I'm going to just line that up like that. We'll just put it on the top of our helmet like that. And then I'm going to make sure that looks good there. And then I can put the solidify on here. And we're just going to do the edge. So generate, solidify. Oh, that's so thick. Oh, it's down here. All right. 0.002 is 2 millimeters. I'm going to say rim only. And auto smooth that so that I get those nice sharp edges to it. I think that's good. I think I'm in the ballpark for this. All right, let's, do I want to apply the, I think no, I need to put thickness on. You know what, I could just cheat. I'm just going to grab these faces here. Actually, I can just grab the whole thing except this edge, shrink it down, or just do a solidify on it. Plus, of course, now I've got this. You know what? I'm going to take that off and use a solidify, and then I'll adjust that. And then we're going to apply the modifiers, and I'm going to adjust the shape to be a little bit better. Boom, 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 boom. Generate, solidify. I'm going to do a fill. We're going to do, I don't know, 0.003. I'm going to make the edge thicker. We're going to pull that up a little bit. I think that'll be good. And then I'm going to apply all of this and add a little bit of a hard edge there. These go around. Let me take a look. All right, let's take a little tour around this hat. I'm just gonna do that, texture that, texture that, texture that. This is gonna be ended up texturing. I've already got a plan on how to do that with the Photoshop. This, I'm actually just gonna put a little rise in the mesh and do that. And then I gotta add this still. I should probably do that with Marvy Designer, but I'm just going to do it in Blender. We still have a half hour. I'm still making good progress on the hat. I'm going to copy. We're going to call you a hat base. We're going to call you hat vent. I'm going to duplicate you. I'm going to hide the duplicate. We'll come back to here and we'll apply all our modifiers. I'm going to do that with a convert to mesh. Applies all the modifiers. All right. I want to pull up a little bit of geometry right on this. This is a little too wide, so I'm going to do a little loop cut. Get that to be about the size I want. Come into here. Select that. Is that where I want it? I want that to actually be a little bit farther. Can I just slide you up a little bit? And we're just going to extrude faces on normals and just pull that up just a hair. Slide that down a little bit. Okay, I've got this extra loop in here now. We're going to get rid of that. We'll just dissolve that out. It's probably good. You know what? I'm going to just put a little break on these edges. Like that. Should be good. We'll put a little bit of a break right in there. But you know what I don't? I'm going to put a break on there, but I want to have a little centerpiece in it. There we go. And I'm going to clear the seam there. And I just want to... Damn it. Did I clear seams there? Oh, those are the creases. I want the crease to be right. Actually, I don't really need the crease now that I got that cut in there. Same with, I don't think I need these either anymore. Probably good. I'm going to make a copy view. Hide the backup. Come into here. Apply that. I'm going to just add a little bit of a bevel on these just to take the sharpness off. I also have mark sharps in here, but I'm going to get rid of those. Oops. Dang it. Am I not around yet? There we go. Okay, we don't want to do much. We just need a little. I'm probably going to have to... I'm going to get some nasty geometry in spots like that. That's okay. We'll fix that. Actually, that's fine. That looks fine. It did it okay. I got sharps in here. I'm going to get rid of them. I think that's going to be fine. Do I want to nudge you down just maybe a hair? I think that'll be good. I think I'm just down to, well, one, we got to make sure it fits ahead. There is that. I think I'm going to get the compass started today, though. You know, the easiest way to put the strap out here is do it in Marvelous Designer. It's probably what I should do. And then I'll come back into Blender and fix that. So I probably won't get to the compass. Let's export this. Actually, let's get a figure in here. Let's fit the G9. I'll fit the G8. Here, I'll just hit the export. G8F. I'm not going to tilt it. I'm just going to leave it flat because it's just easier to model with for right now. But we will, when we actually put it on the head, we'll tilt it around a little bit. We'll tilt it back a bit. But for right now, there you are. And then I just take these. Oh, I just join those together now. I might as well. Is the modeling done? Modeling's done except for the strap. I'm gonna mark some seams in here then. That I don't, let's go ahead and join. Control J. I'll go ahead and just make sure. Let's see what our fit is. That's actually not too bad. Yep, I think that's a good fit. We're actually going to end up doing that. I'm not going to save this, but that's kind of what it's going to end up looking. Real world measurements got me in the ballpark. Nice. All right, let's export this out, take it into Marvelous Designer, and I'm going to put a strap on it. I think I'm going to have to do it in steps. I'm going to put like 8 little anchors in here. Then we're going to just take strips. And I need strips that are going to come through here. I need a strip that's going to go across the top. It has to actually come from here to here, doesn't it? And then it wraps into here. So activate export, Savannah pith helmet. Because I like saying pith. I made a pith helmet a long time ago, but I don't know. I would like to think I've gotten a little better since then. I'm also going to use Marvelous Designer for the canteen. Canteen is going to be an old U.S. Army design, 1910, which is that classic shape that you're probably familiar with from World War II, and that canvas cover. So I'm going to mold the aluminum in the cap part in Blender. Then we're going to take the Marvelous Designer, put a cover on that. Then we're going to go back into Blender and add some snaps. But not today. Maybe we'll do that on Monday. I also haven't, I'm probably going to knock the compass out tomorrow. Compass is pretty simple. I found a nice compass online. I'm doing some research. Make Wikimedia Commons has got some nice compass roses that I can probably use. I think we're not going to use that one. There is one in here that is public domain, though. Are you public domain or not? This image is the work of the Federal Aviation Administration. So I'm either going to use that, or I have another one that looks kind of cool. The flat round, not the flat round canteen, the old M1910 canteen. One of these. I'm not going to do the cup holder. We're just going to basically do the body and the cap and the cover. And then you'll actually be able to take it out of the cover and take the cap off, but I'm not going to detail it. I'm not going to include that. I know growing up we had these as kids. We also had the round flat ones. My dad liked to go camping, so we used stuff like that. We had the old army web belts with the holes in it that you would snap this onto. What am I doing? I'm filing and I'm importing as an avatar. So we're going to do an import add obj. And we're going to go looking for, I'm totally lost. We're going to go into projects and I can type in here and Savannah and whip, and we are looking for the pith helmet, and I'm going to say okay to that. So that's going to act as an avatar. They were still using that design. Yeah, they switched to plastic in the 70s or the 80s. The one we had as a kid in the 60s and the 70s were made out of aluminum. I think that still may be kind of the basic design for canteens today, but I don't remember, but I don't recall. And you still had the cup on the bottom, though. Was the cup plastic too? Or did you have the cup? Did it come with a cup on the bottom? Because those World War II ones, that cup was also like your drinking cup and your cooking utility. The canteen cup fits over the bottom, and that was made out of metal. Yeah, because you probably meant to put it on a fire if you need to, right? How big is that strap? Is that a half-inch strap? That's a little bit more than a half-inch strap. I'm going to call that a 17 millimeter strap, and we're going to go from there. And we're going to detail out the other stuff, but we're going to get the basic strap design in Marvelous Designer and send it back out. Then we're going to give it actual depth. Do I want to do this detail? I think I actually want to kind of do this detail. There's a little flap in here. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to go in and out of a buckle here. I think this just doubles back through the buckle or something. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to come around. Maybe I will double back to here. And this doubles back and gets riveted on. It's actually I think this is actually a chin strap, but I don't know if anybody actually uses it. It's like the old story of World War II helmets. They always had the strap on top because they were afraid that the explosion would rip their head off if it caught under them. Something like that. You had to learn not to. I would imagine you did, yeah. Okay, anyhow, I'm going to go with 17 millimeter and we'll work from there. Let's do, I don't do, I got, hey, I got a little silhouette of my avatar. How cool is that? So I know how to put my little boxy thing in here. I'm going to say 250 because I don't know. And then we'll say, what did I say? 17. 17 looks too big. I'm going to do 15. I think 15 might work. 15's looking too big too, though. I might switch you back to 12. My initial feeling was half an inch. I'm going to give this a fabric color so I can see it a little easier. I don't know, that looks about right. I'm going to pull it out a little bit further. I'm going to add here, let's do this. I need a couple of little pieces, kind of like, oops, kind of like this. I'm going to take these, they're going to be anchors. I'm going to basically freeze them and move them to the inside. I'm using the wrong tool again. So I need one, and these are going to be 15 by 15s. I'm going to say okay to that. That's right. I remember that the pictures had this special. All right, we're going to do that. And what this is going to do is I'm basically going to sew to that, but this is going to be frozen. And I'm just going to kind of position it where I need it inside of here. I'm going to put you over in here. So our strap will come around, come under, and attach to that. Is the general idea. And we're just going to use some tension to pull it up through there. I don't care if that's going to clip or not. We're going to get rid of that later. Okay, that's probably good. I'm going to duplicate that. So we'll come over here, Control D. So I get a copy of that. Should be right about there. Excellent. I'm going to eyeball out. You know, I'm going to dupe this, turn it a little bit, and resize it. So CV. I'm going to kind of put you over here. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to sew that to that. I'm going to position this inside here. You're going to get sewn into here. So I'm going to need to take this, shorten it up. Something, we'll start with that. And then what I want to do, I'll use the sewing tool in here to sew from there to there. Then Control D makes the copy on the other side. I'm going to turn gravity off because it just kind of, we're not worrying about it floating down with gravity. We're just kind of setting it up for tension. And so that to that, and let's see how that goes. It's too loose. I'm going to crank the, so we'll put that back. I totally need to tighten these up, don't I? We'll just run this out, and I'll just pull this. We can just run both in. Anyhow, I got that selected. I'm going to make this really sticky. I'll make it as much friction as possible. And I'm just going to take you in like so. And then you go kind of, let's just leave you peeking out over the edge a little bit like that. How are we doing? All right. Kind of the direction I want to go in. I'm going to find a center point on that. We're just going to flip it later on. Hey, I think I'm kind of good. So the idea is kind of get this lined up straight. All right, let's take a look at our helmet picture again and see where this actually lines up on the inside. I can probably put these back a little bit further. I think I've got them in here now, so I think I'll slide them back into here. So turn that off. Delete. Oops, I deleted the wrong thing. Stimpy, you fool. I want to delete that because I'm just going to move this and then duplicate it again so I get it done right. We're going to move you back here and straighten you up a little bit like that. And I'm just going to pull you a little bit deeper in. And we'll Control D that. There we go. I'm going to actually make this mesh denser than I would normally. Normally I work with a 10 millimeter particle distance, but for these, I think I'm going to go with, we'll go with 4. I'm going to say yes to that, and we'll see. It gives me a little more definition, and it gives me a little more shape that I can work with in Blender. Okay, we're going to tweak our offsets so it sits a little closer. Right now, that big gap is the result of like this skin offset up, probably. There we go. Now I've gone too far. Oh, 0.5. Well, let's back that up. Right there. All right. Let's make you 0.5. There we go. That's nice. Almost there. And there's an offset on, I'm going to do a couple little things here. We're going to just merge these together. I want to do you and you and Moij. And I'm going to do you and you and Moij. Actually, I might not need to cut this in half. I might just leave it like that. We'll lose those end pieces because I don't really care about that. And actually, all I really need is okay. My strengthening is stopping it from doing that, so we'll take that off. There we go. Oh no, it's poking through. We're going to have to fix that. You know what it is? It's the normals. The normals are getting a little funny in there. Did I get half of it right though? You know what? I got half of it right. I can probably chop it in the middle and just flip it. You know what it is? It's getting it the normals on this are pulling once this gets through, and then it makes it difficult for me to pop it back out. I'm going to just so I think I'm going to export it, chop it in half, flip it, smooth these out, and call that good enough. Actually, I was good right there. Oh no, I still had the offset or the material. All right, we're done. I can fix this. All right, I'm going to export this out. I just want to export this. I just need this strap. So activate my export. File, export, OBJ selected. Savannah Pith helmet. We're just going to call you strap. Okay. Pop back over into the Blender. We'll import that. Excellent. We'll pop into edit mode and clean up the inside a little bit. I don't need to see. Oh no, I'm going to resave that. I forgot to do quad optimized. Dang it. All right, get rid of that. Re-import. You're still not quad optimized. What the hell? Oh, my dialog box is still open. Damn it. Re-import. That's better. That is so much neater looking. I'm just going to clean these up. We'll just G-stretch that back into shape. That's probably good enough. Scale Z to flatten it out. And we'll just do a little G stretch on that. Probably good enough. Same thing here. Little G stretch on that puppy. Probably happy enough with that. Give this some material. Well, it has one, but it's got jank name. What am I calling you? Hat. Strap. Helmet. We'll say helmet. Helmet strap is good. Okay. This side was a little janky, but I can probably just run some G stretches on that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the multiple. That one's fine. And then we'll just G stretch those. Is good. I'm going to do a solidify on this. And then we're going to start thinking about, I got these nice clean, this came out really nice. So I can break these. These are really easy over here. So I think over here, we're going to put the, we're going to loop that around and put in a little thing here and a rivet. And then over here, I'm just going to divot that up and put a thing in here. Although I think I will just double this over to here. And this is going to come and be doubled up under here. So how do I want to do that? So I'm going to have double here through double here. I think the idea is I'm going to make a copy of it, extrude on normals, delete off the parts, delete off some parts and kind of put it together. Let me see how I want to do this. And then we can solidify. So I'm going to kind of want to duplicate through there. So I'm going to just pull that out a little further. And I'm going to just pull that up a little bit like so. And then I'm going to put a thing in all the way over here. So I think I'm just going to copy through to here. I'm going to control, like kind of what I have an idea what I want to do. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of we'll do a little proportional editing, connected only. We'll do linear, and I'm going to end up kind of taking that up like so. So it gets up underneath there. Likewise, damn it. I'm going to kind of just do the same thing over here. Kind of pull that up. And then these we'll put back down. I lost one. Let's do them one at a time. I think I'm going to flip the normals on that though. I think I'm too high, but we can fix that. Mesh normals, flip, and then I'll do the same thing here. Bring you back down to about in there, and we'll flip the normals on that. Excellent. I'm going to, we're shaping. All right, we're going to turn that off because that's going to where the buckle goes through it. And I'm actually just going to add extra geometry right in there. So we'll just bevel through there. And then I think I want to take this a little lower. Oops, I get that turned off. Let's put that back on. I should probably add a solidifier on here right now so I can get a feel for what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish setting up this strap and then we're going to call it a day because we're coming up on 4. Dun, dun, dun. Where's my solidify? I'm in deform. There's generate. There's solidify. We're going to say 0.001. We're going to do a millimeter to start with. I think that looks good. I'm going to loop this around so it connects. And actually, I don't need it to go that far because I'm going to put my rivet in here so I can take some of that bottom part off. This, I'm going to do the same thing. We'll just bring that down till we're touching the bottom part of that strap. Right about in there. Should be good. This one's too long, so I'm gonna, let me hide the hat now. I don't need to see the hat base. So like I said, I just don't want, we're gonna end that there and I'm gonna put a rivet right in there. Now we're going to take this row here and that row there. Can I just, no, I didn't want to do that. We'll bridge them. I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it. Bridge edge loops. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here. We're going to put a cut in here. So this is how I'm getting around the corner. I'm going to put a cut in here. I'm going to do both of these at the same time. We're going to scale in the X and we're going to turn off the scale in the X and bring those in like so. Then we're just going to put a little bevel on there, round it out. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm getting a little bit of goofiness in here. We're going to fix that just a little bit. I'm going to, you know what, actually, I'm going to go back to before there and then just pull. So that's going to come up a little bit like so. And that'll come up a little bit like so. Did I lose my, I lost my modifier. What the hell? What the bloody hell? Here we go. Something like that. And then I just need to add the hardware. I'm going to make a copy of that and then we'll make it real mesh. We are a minute past 4, but I'm pretty happy with how the strap's looking. I think that'll do the trick. And then I'm going to do the detailing of the seams and stuff with Substance Painter. So actually, I think we're going to stop here for the day. Let me save you. Save as. How about that saving? Savannah pith helmet. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Excuse me. I think this is coming along good. We're still going to do a canteen and a compass. Um, I'm going to still work on the belt buckle. Our textures are pretty much done. I still got to do the morphs and stuff. So anyhow, good progress on that. Wrestling outfit, I have to redo my materials because I did them a little bit wrong. But other than that, I'm also in the middle of doing the promos. So that's almost done. There'll be a few previews of that tonight in the Saturday Night Social, which by the way is tonight because it's Saturday night. Saturday Night Social, oddly enough, happens on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's an art share, it's a Discord chat, it's an old cartoon. Feel free to join. If you drop stuff into the gallery, we will share it. Is that Cyrus Dana? It is Iris Dana. She's here just in time for me to raid. I knew if somebody was raiding me just as I'm signing off stream, it would be you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. We'll do a quick preview of what I was working on. You know, fun. Today I was working on a pith helmet. Oh yeah, right. Just a pure coincidence, I'm sure. I saw you were on. I was lurking a little bit, but so we've got the pith helmet. This is going with sexy Sapporo girls. Well, that's true. Normally you would be we just stream at the I just stream whenever you are. You should have been gone hours ago. Oh dang. Anyhow, this is the outfit I'm working on. This is my Safari Girl outfit. He's got a top. It's got shorts. I got a belt buckle. We were working on textures in the belt buckle. Yes, we're going jungle hunting. We've got our cool little jungle boots. The colors are just placeholder colors. It comes with socks. She'll have a pith helmet, which we were working on right here. Also, I'm going to give her a compass that she'll wear on her belt, and she gets a canteen that she'll wear on her booty. She needs more pockets. This is all she gets. So anyhow, that's what I was working on today. I appreciate the raid, but it is 4 o'clock, and I'm going to do other things now. Anyhow, let's give a big shout out for. Hey, if there is anybody actually in either of my chats on Twitch or YouTube, check out our good friend Cyrus Dana. She's a cross stitcher, cross stitching almost all the time. It's pretty much cross stitching and only cross stitching, except you have a couple of holiday streams you do, and I think that's about it now, right? A couple of holiday streams. You do Christmas mornings, and then I think around October, you do you go find the spooky street and check it out, if I remember right. Anyhow, check out our good friend Cyrus Dana, a marvelous crafting friend. Um, if you're on YouTube, jump over to Twitch, give her a follow, check her out when she's on. Usually streams Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And so, yeah, I appreciate the raid as always. You are a spooky street. Also, she sells stuff. I think if you go check out her Twitch channel and you're into and you need cross stitching supplies, I believe you do mail order sourcing business on the side, if I remember correctly. So we'll give a shout out to that as well. The only way I know is for them to go check out your Twitch, and I'm sure if you're doing that, you have links there. Anyhow, feel free to join my Discord if you haven't already. I am going to be back tonight at 8 p.m. for my Saturday Night Social. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. If you go to the Discord and you put stuff in the gallery, we will share that. And I do sell stuff at Daz. This is going to become a Daz product at some point, which you can use in Daz Studio. So feel free to go spend money you don't have. That's right. Buy our stuff. Buy our stuff. Um, So there is that. And what else we got? I think that's it. Hey, check out my good friend Charles. He had a he doesn't really stream a whole lot, although he did have a short pop-up stream today. You don't sell 3D graphics. No, but you can hook up with pencils. And you have the cross-stitching supplies and patterns, right? You do the patterns as well. Um, and my brain stopped. What am I doing? I'm getting ready to get out of here. So if you want to stick around for the raid, hey, if you're on YouTube, if there is anybody on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's always awesome. I appreciate that. If you're on Twitch, we're gonna find somebody else cool to go raid. Who obviously won't be Zyrostana because she's here now. So, let's see who is on Twitch. See if any of the art friends are on, and barring that, maybe who is on Twitch. See if any of the art friends are on, and barring that. Oh, you bought the bowling alley. Thanks. I appreciate that, man. I love the bowling alley. Bowling alley is one of my favorites. I spent like more than a month doing the bowling alley though, and it doesn't make as much money as something as like this, which is kind of sad. This takes me about a week. Bowling alley took me a month. I've made well, I also sold the bowling alley on Renderossi, but even then I was making more with clothes on Renderossi than the props. So anyhow, Gutterwave, thanks for popping in. And also, let me just check and see if I didn't say hi to anybody who came in on the raid and I missed it because I'm a slug. I see Zyrostana and I see Zyrostana and I see Zyrostana and Gutter the Wave. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I am looking at my Twitch follow list to see who we're gonna. Oh, my good friend Supreme Doom is making a partner push. So we're gonna go over there and say hi to her. Um, her and her Crafty Collective are awesome. If you aren't familiar with them already, it's a great place to hang out. She does a lot of card making on stream. But she also has just a wonderful, great community over there. She is making a partner push. When we get over there, because of the way Twitch works, remember to refresh your stream so you count as an actual viewer and not just a follower from a raid. That would be awesome. So I'm gonna give a shout out for her in case you get lost. Supreme Doom 56, real good friend. And like I said, making the partner push. So I think if you're like me, you will probably enjoy lurking that stream or at least hanging out with her wonderful community as well. So we're going to do that for today. I do have raid calls. If you can stick around for the raid, that would be awesome. If you're not a sub, feel free to use that one. If you are a sub, you get to use the sub raid call. And you are also awesome. And let's do this. Let's go over and say hi to Supreme Doom 56. So this is where we're heading. And please, by the way, if you drop a follow, I hope you like the channel and stick around. That would be great. And yeah, let's do this raid thing /raid. I appreciate everybody being here. I hope you all have a great. If I don't see you tonight, I hope you all have a great rest of a Saturday or Sunday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And did I start my raid? My raid has been solid. So with that, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks. And Zyrostan, once again, thanks for that. There's the dyslexic heart. Thanks for that raid. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Hasta la vista, baby.